In this video I'm going to show how I built the kitchen for my last house. Like, most of the information is available on stephenwiseman.wordpress.com, which is my blog, and you'll notice further down I wrote this. So this is a picture of the kitchen here taken with my iPhone, and this is the render that I did in Maya. Um, Actually, I spent most of my time sort of going into the kitchen, looking at the taps, taking little photos on my iPhone, and then I'd look at my iPhone as I modelled it in Maya. And you can see um, the final render here. We're going to look at these taps and how they were modelled, as well as some of the other features in the scene. So over in Maya, I need to select the taps and export them. So you click on a model like that, shift select, 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 select. I'll just go into full screen here, and then I want to get all these little things as well. Shift, 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 shift select, shift select, shift select, shift select, and hopefully we'll just export these. Export selection to the desktop. We'll call it we'll call it taps. And here I'm going to open up another version of Maya, another instance. Same version, different instance. Here we'll go File, Import. We want to look at the desktop, and it's taps here. So if I go frame up on those, now if I look at the different views, frame up, frame up, frame up, the top view, we want to take this downwards, closer to the grid, because the grid's quite helpful for being able to see how the perspective viewport is rendering. I think also to show how this part of the tab was created, you know, this curve here, I'll just shade it up to show you. That was done with a NURBS curve, one of these curve tools here, and I'll bring the curve in from the other version of Maya. So if I just go, the attribute editor is selected at the moment, so if I go to the channel box, turn the kitchen off, NURBS surfaces are still shown, so show all like that, and I know right off the bat that this is the curve that I used, so I'll go File, Export Selection, save it to the desktop, and we'll call it Outlet, and should be able to import that into the scene by going File, Import, Outlet, and then frame up on it. There it is. Right, first of all, I'd like to create this thing. Let's just, by the way, when I do that, it's F to frame up on the object, but if you want to see all the objects in the scene, you press A and it'll zoom out to show them all. W to get the move tool. Right, so I want to show roughly how this was made. If I frame up on it, you can pretty much see that it's a cylinder from the base there, the way all the edges move in to a point in the center. So that's under polygons. Polygon cylinder like this. I'll just rotate again, zoom out a bit. So if I create a cylinder about the same width, you can scale it down afterwards. Release, click to, and then you want to drag to set the height. So start off with just that much. Right. From here, we want to start creating these little sort of curves, and the easiest way of doing that would be to go into faces mode and selecting the faces on the top, but that's going to be rather difficult, so I'm just going to go Shift Z to bring it back. Actually, I'm going to create that again. So let's just make sure I get the right size and make sure it's high enough this time, because when I go into faces mode, I just want to select the faces on the top. So if I go into wireframe, you can see the little spots over the faces there, and if you shift select any one of those, it highlights like that. So those are the ones that I want. Back over to 5 for shaded mode, and I'll actually take them down lower. Right, so from here we want to use the extrusion command, which is under the polygons modeling menu, extrude, and by clicking this symbol here you go into the world coordinates for it. You'll notice when I give the extrude command, you get all these extra faces that are kind of around the edge of this cylinder, but what that means is I can scale it in a bit like this, and then move actually press G again, go over to world coordinates and move it up a little bit, just that much. G, scale it in. G, move it up. G, scale it in. G, want to move it up a fair amount here. We've got the 1, 2, 3 lips there. Let's say it goes up about that far. But it kind of moves in, so I think we'll do G, another one of them, and move that in, but this time we'll scale the whole thing down just a little bit like that. And then we want to put another lip in, so the way this is done is G to extrude again. This time I'm gonna scale in a little bit. No, actually I want to scale out, don't I? Scale out. G to repeat the command, which is extrude up. So I've got that little lip sticking out now, but I want the object to move inwards again. So G, scale that in. G again, scale up. So we've got that. And at this stage, we might want to see what the smooth proxy looks like for the model. So it's Control tilde and then tab over. Oh, you have to be in object mode for that. So I'm going to move over to object mode, Control tilde, and it's kind of looking very similar to that already. It's got a different material applied to it at this stage. We could change the material. I'll show you how materials work later. Might as well get the whole thing modelled out though. Well, we're 10 minutes into the video. Actually, I think it's going to be very boring for me to show you how this whole thing was done, because it's all very similar. I suppose. Let's move on to this one here. So this is done with an extrusion as well. But if you go over to curves on the surfaces tab, and let's have a look at the EP curve tool. So you can start clicking points and just creating curves, any curve you can imagine, and then press enter, and you've got a curve there. So that's how that curve was created. And then to create the actually, I'm just gonna bring it in. Frame up on all of it. Let's bring this across. Frame up. So now we're looking at this object here and how was it created. So let's just get that out of the way. Select the curve. Actually, I want to be using this tool here, which is a NURB circle, and I think about that size will do. Frame up. Bring up the rotate tool with E. We can see that the dimension that I want to rotate it in will be the blue line, this one here. And you can see that rotate Z in the channel box changes as I modify that value. So just watch Control Z, that changes. I want to move that to 90 degrees. It works in degrees. There's Maya rather than radians. Degrees are a lot easier. Everybody knows how to use them from school and stuff. I'd say that's pretty centered. We don't want any translation, so just put 0, tab 0, and that'll take you to the center. So that circle is now pretty much at the origin. So I'll just take away the rotate tool there. Shift select the curve and then go to surfaces, extrude, and you get that. So now this is the one that was imported in. This is a little bit too big, so you just scale it down with the scale tool, which you get by hitting R on the keyboard. Actually, the curves are coming along there as well. Anyway, probably a little bit too thick is that thing. Could do with having it a bit longer. No, that's some sort of badly done there. Let's go all the way back. If we just scale this down a little bit and then use the same command, shift select the curve, surfaces, extrude. That's more like it. This time I should be able to select the object, move it independently of the curves that are there, and then scale it down to the right size. And just to show, we'll have a look at the top view. Go W, frame up, scale out a little bit. I think it's this one here. So just move it in like that. Frame up here. You can see it's a little bit too low, so move that in there a bit. Just change that a little bit, and then shift select that. Shift select that. F to frame up. Move that out of the way. We could just have a look at view selected. Show, isolate, view selected, and then you can see that's what the top looks like. Just bringing that back. You can see all these shapes here were created with extrusions to create the little lips and stuff. I think on a milling machine would actually be used in reality to create taps like that, but this is just a method of doing it inside a computer with geometry. And they're all very similar. So we'll look at how the materials were created now. 17 minutes into the video, so let's come back here and switch everything back on. Frame up. Just do that. This is selecting minute little pixels here. F to frame up. Select that, the sync, F. I'm just looking at my notes. Right, we want to look at the material for this object now. You can see in the final render it's kind of a silvery colour. It looks very similar to the actual kitchen. You can't actually see from this image what it looks like, but I had some very close-up images on my iPhone which I can't show you because I never stored them anywhere. They're lost. Let's have a look at the hypershade. This is the hypershade. So if I select an object and go to the attribute editor up here, this is the blend. These are the revolved surfaces, and the blend is the material that was used to that was applied to this object that's selected here, the outlet for the water. And you can see it's blend 7, which is this one here. I think you can graph materials on selected objects. So, sorry, input and output connections. That's all it is. And then you can select that, which is already selected. So let's say if I go over here and select something different, or go back to the channel box and then select the blend, the attribute editor. Well, the channel box is shown there, and you go over to the attribute editor and it's selected, and that's the blend 7. some of the other materials are here, like the granite for the work surface. That's what it looks like. What I'll do now is go panels and choose a panel. We want the render view. Right, that's the object we've got in the scene. I'm just going to show it again. Show how it's done. This is a doubling basin, by the way. It's got two huge basins for doing your washing up. So bring up the render globals for this image. It's on 640 by 480. We want to render the perspective if we can. Alright, it's not listed there. Oh, I think we must be rendering it here. Renderable camera. Perspective. Yeah, let's just see if it does it. We'll get the color. Select that. Go over to the blend. That's the color we're on. It was more like that actually. So if I render the whole thing there. This is going to take a while to compute. But just talking about some of the other stuff in these material attributes, you can just change them. They're designed to be very similar to the way how the way sort of physics works and how people normally describe what something looks like. So all these descriptions here: color, transparency, ambient color, incandescence, bump, diffuse, translucence, focus, eccentricity, roll off, reflectivity, all things that can be used to describe the appearance of an object. So that's just rendering now. So that's what the material looks like. And then let's say if I want to change one of these features, so let's change the color. Let's have a look. See if you can. If I click on this swatch here, I can change the color from a silvery over to, like, let's say a bit of a blue color, and do a region render for that. So this is just going to change the color of the metals there, and click this button to do a region render. See what color it looks like, what color it is. Ah, it's no different. That's a bit weird. That should have changed. Oh, sorry, we're on blend 4. We've got blend 4 selected there. It's changed the colour of the sink. Sorry about that. I'll do it again. I've got to wait until the machine stops computing though. Just select this. It's blend 7, so I want to change the colour. We'll put it over to a reddish colour. Well, sinks wouldn't really be red, would they? Sort of a blue tint. Taps wouldn't be red, I don't think. Do a region render for that. This time the tap should change colour. You can see them all blue. I think what I'll do now is dial down the brightness of that colour. the intensity of the colour. See how that changes it as well. We'll do another region render. It's over these bits and just do a comparison. See, that's darker. You'll notice there's a lot of graininess in this image, so as before I could show you about the render globals, go over to anti-aliasing and use more sampling, so fixed sample, augmented array, let's use scanline. Let's do a production quality render, fixed sampling, 16 samples per pixel on scanline. Perspective viewport, and we'll render out the whole thing. Can we choose a smaller render region? 320 by 240. That'll be much smaller image, but it's just going to be quicker. This should show all the graininess being taken out of the image. When you use more samples per pixel, it obviously takes a lot longer to compute, but the end result is a lot nicer. We're 28 minutes into the video now, so when this is done I'm going to wrap up, but going to show a lot more of how this scene was built, all the different objects, try and show as many of the modeling tools as possible, because over the course of time whilst building the scene I used pretty much the entire modeling tool set of Maya to create all the different features. That looks very, very polished there, and obviously when you go ahead and render out a big still like this, it can look very nice. I think the glass, the shader for the glass is quite interesting. Some of the beveling that I did on the doors and the extrusions, the beveling that I did on the granite worktops to get this edge here where you get this sort of specular highlight, this hard edge going across like that. It's very interesting. Alright, that wraps up this video.